Welcome to the Be About It podcast. My name is Ben Mercedes, and I'll be your host. We'll cover financial and crypto markets, real estate, and entrepreneurship. My goal is to inspire others to be about it and take action. In episode 12, I sit with Sokkha Va, and we discuss her journey from photography into permanent makeup work. We cover the opportunity that exists in the beauty industry, an Airbnb acquisition, and we get a glimpse into a seven-figure business. Make sure to like, comment, and subscribe wherever you listen to podcasts. Today's episode is a personal friend of mine, an entrepreneur, a doer, someone who's about it. She has a microblading studio. She's an artist. She's a mother, and she's awesome. Her name is Sokkha Va, and she is here today with me on the podcast. How are you?
Hi, Ben. Thanks for having me.
This is a pleasure. So happy to do this. How are you feeling? A little bit of nervous?
A little bit. I appreciate you for inviting me on your podcast and allowing me to share my story on your platform.
Of course. Very happy that we have Alex here. He's monitoring levels. Thank you so much.
Thanks, Alex.
His nickname is Big Sexy. We shoot weddings together. You know what it is. All right. So why don't we start? When we met, you were into photography. Now you have an amazing studio of your own, microblading. I think it's incredible. Why don't you just kind of backtrack and, take us from like high school forward? And what's your story like?
High school forward. Okay. So I am originally from Portland, Maine.
Cool.
Let me actually bring you all the way back.
Let's do it.
Okay. So I was born in Thailand, came to the US when I was 2 years old as an immigrant. I didn't have any of those struggles, transitioning into a new country. I lived in Portland for my whole life until college. So I went to the University of Southern Maine for business and graduated in 2016 with a business degree in hopes of, thank you, climbing the corporate ladder.
Mm-hmm. How's the ladder? Is it fun?
Oh, man. I thought that was it.
Yeah,
right?
Me too.
Right? It was a normal thing to just go into debt, going to school, and that was normal.
Yeah.
But actually, now that I'm in this entrepreneurial life, it's definitely not what I expected it to be.
Yeah. So how did you make that switch?
So let's see. University of Southern Maine, business. That's where I met my now husband.
Awesome.
He was my tutor in stats.
Yeah.
Needless to say, we passed the class. We graduated together, and he immediately got a job in Boston. And I was stuck in Portland, Maine, bartending. Bartending is
it's a hustle.
It's a hustle. It's a quick way to make money. But, it wasn't for me, and I hated it. Yeah. I hated bartending. I
think it's fun when you're young. It gets a little harder when you're older. Like, hey, you got to stay out till 2, 3 in the morning. You got to deal with drunk people to make your living. It's a little challenging.
It is. Yeah. It is. So I was looking for. So I graduated and I have this degree, and I am not doing anything with it. So he said to me one time, if you are doing something, in my opinion, was shitty, why don't you do it in a better city? Come to Massachusetts. I'm like, wow, you're right. I should. Let's go to Massachusetts. And it was such a big city for me, the transition from Portland, Maine to Boston. I'm like, wow. So I came, and I got a job at the Winchester Country Club. Now, bartending at a country club versus a bar is totally different.
Different. Yeah, I deal with them a lot.
Yeah.
It's not so bad. I mean, with weddings, we typically try to go to the bar, get a drink if we can, That's about it. But it's a wedding.
Yeah.
Versus like golfing,
Golfing. Yeah. People who are very important, So
yeah, some of those clubs, I remember when I first started shooting a wedding, we pulled up to this place. It looked incredible. And I was like, I wonder what the yearly membership fee was. And it was like, oh, it's $100,000. And it's just like, oh, okay, cool.
Yeah, it's insane.
You got 100 just to play golf and network.
Yeah.
So it's not a bad life.
Let me just throw that money around like it's nothing.
Just 100. Just 100.
So I was doing that. I was bartending there, and we, I think I missed the part where I mentioned how we got married.
Yeah. How did that work out?
It's great. So we got married, and then I decided to continue on with my bartending job, and I got pregnant. 6 months pregnant, being a bartender was not what I wanted to do. And I told him, I was like, I can't do this. My body can't handle this at all.
Can't imagine.
So I said to him, like, I have to quit. I'm just going to be a stay-at-home mom or stay-at-home wife and just enjoy this. But deep down, I felt as though I needed to do something else. So that's when I asked him to get me a camera so I can get into this photography business. I wanted to immerse myself in the wedding industry, and that's what I wanted to do. I thought. I also was scrolling through my email and found an email about microblading. And when I opened that up, I would have to say that microblading found me.
Yeah.
Because
at that point, was like eyebrow threading a thing?
Eyebrow threading was a thing. And I did thread eyebrows.
Okay.
Over 200 eyebrows. I'm like, I can't be doing.
So you were threading eyebrows at that time?
I was threading eyebrows.
Okay,
and I
cool.
learned from watching a YouTube channel on how to thread eyebrows.
YouTube University.
YouTube University.
I tell people that all the time. You can learn anything you want.
So then I went.
Okay. That makes more sense. That's an easier transition if you were already threading.
I was already threading.
Cool. Did you have like a studio space or?
No, I was doing it at my house.
Baller.
At my apartment.
What were you charging for that?
Whatever I wanted to eat that day.
$30 ramen?
If I wanted pad thai, it was $13. I'll charge you $13. And I'm like, there's no way that I can live a life threading eyebrows. There must be something else.
Can you explain what eyebrow threading is, just for someone who doesn't know?
It's essentially just removing hair with a thread.
Okay, cool. How does that differentiate from microblading?
Oh my God, completely different.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What's the difference?
Microblading is just depositing pigment into the skin. It's tattooing eyebrows into someone's face.
Do you do any hair removal with that?
Not really.
No. Okay. Cool.
No.
Cool. What's the price difference to get tattooed versus eyebrow threading?
So eyebrow threading, I was charging $12, $15 versus $800.
Okay. Is that the average?
I believe so. In Boston, it's between $500 to $1,200.
Sweet. So what do you charge?
Right in the middle.
Okay. Cool.
$800.
Cool. Yeah, I told you I had an episode with Wilson, and his girl does hair extensions, and she makes a great amount of money doing hair extensions. And me and Wilson just kind of looked at each other, like, between microblading and between, hair extensions, it's like we're in the wrong business. If you could make $800 a day and you can do that, how many times in a day?
About 4 or 5 times a day.
It's not a bad day.
It's not a bad day. And you can do
that on a Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday, if you really wanted to be about it.
Yeah. So I used to do it 7 days a week.
Crazy.
And you just kind of get used to, you become accustomed to it.
Yeah.
Like $800 or something.
How is it on your body? Like when we shoot weddings, we're it's hour and a half in the road to get to Newport. It's 10-hour day, 11-hour day, maybe. Yeah. Another hour and a half back. But like you get back and it's like,
my neck is sore. My back is tired, but you just go with the flow. Just do it.
Are your hands cramped?
No, not anymore.
Cool.
Used to.
You build that strength.
Absolutely.
Nice. Nice. What are the margins like on something like this? Are they good?
Oh, it's great. It cost me about $12.50 to do one full procedure, and I am charging $7.75 because $800 kind of sounds a little crazy.
Yeah.
So $7.75 is a little bit more doable.
You still got to factor in rent, website,
insurance.
Online advertising, insurance. I'm sure you have to have a good set of insurance if you're literally tattooing people, the training certifications that you have to go through, the training that you take on artistically. Like people always think like, oh, that's super profitable, but there are a ton of expenses in business.
Yeah.
So, but it's great to have good margins to start.
Right.
You don't want to start a business when you have like 30% margins.
Yeah.
Because then all those costs just, get eaten up. So you're microblading now. How many people do you have working with you? What's going on with the company? Where do you see yourself in the future? Like, what's your focus?
So I have 2 artists working underneath me.
Cool.
And I am opening up another studio.
Awesome. You guys crush it on social media, by the way. Good job.
Thank you.
You guys do a really good job. Every day there's like 8 stories up and like engaging posts. And
we try.
Solid stuff. It's good. I like that in your posts that you always have like typically there's a copy and paste between, hey, we're doing microblading training on these dates. Like, and it's just this continuous call to action of, hey, we actually train artists to microblade. So every time I see that, I'm always like, they're killing it. So good job. Or you're like your TikTok reels. Those are always good. There's always like a variety of them. They're entertaining, and yeah,
it's embarrassing. I don't like putting myself out there, but I have to do it.
I've yet to TikTok myself.
You need to.
I don't want to though. But yeah, it's one of those things. Like with me, I have a camera and I have a light. So like right now, gas prices are crazy. So I kind of I'm thinking about pretending a skit of like someone got their gas tank siphoned and they're just discovering that their tank went from FTE overnight. You know what I mean? You could do that really easily on a TikTok, but I don't know. I'd rather call Alex and, bust out an anamorphic lens and shoot some cool stuff and have a funny like cinematic skit,
Yeah, but it's so much better if I knew who you were behind the lens.
It would be me in it. Alex would shoot me, but it would be better than cell phone quality. That's my dilemma as a creator. It's like I have these tools that are going to be better. I don't know. There's a new iPhone with like the cinematic mode, but it looks fake.
Right. I think you're just being really hard on yourself, and you have high standards with video.
I like creating like that.
I know.
Yeah.
But you got to do what you got to do.
Yeah. There's a trade-off. I had another discussion on LinkedIn with David. And he was like, listen, you can bust out a handful of TikToks on your cell phone. You can bust out 10 TikToks before you can bust out like one pro skit. So it's just like, do you want to create in batch or do you want to create in quality content? And there's a discussion for that. Maybe you can do both, but yeah. So microblading is good. You're currently in a studio in Lexington.
Yep.
Your schedule is how many months out?
I am booked until mid-July now.
Okay. That's how many months?
I don't know. 6 maybe?
Between 4 to 6. I think that's incredible. Tell me what else do you got? What else do you offer as a studio? You're doing microblading.
We're doing microblading. We're doing scalp micropigmentation. We are offering lip brushing.
Can you break that down? Scalp
micropigmentation.
That's for who?
It's for anyone who needs a density fill, women who lose hair and men who are balding. So we just give them back their hairline.
AKA me.
Come through.
Yeah. How often are you guys doing those things? How popular is it? I see it a handful of times.
So S&P is slowly picking up. I think it's also a new thing. Just like when I started microblading, not a lot of people knew about it. I didn't even know about it.
Yeah.
It took about, I don't know. I can't even compare between microblading and scalp micropigmentation. Because for me, when I started out, I was struggling to find clients. And what
did you start at when you first started?
Oh yeah, let's talk about that.
Yeah, like your intro. You started microblading. Yeah. Did you have your own studio or were you doing it from home? Yeah.
So this is my story. After realizing that I didn't want to bartend anymore, I needed to find something else. And I wanted to start my photography business and also learning how to microblade. So I didn't say anything about microblading for an entire year.
Because I remember seeing your photography at that point.
Oh, yeah?
Yeah, like that's when we had first connected. You were still doing photography and I think you were just getting into microblading.
That's the same time. That's when I found you. And when I found you, I was like, oh my God, he is so good. I just want to be just like him.
Don't listen to her.
No, you were so good. Don't talk yourself down.
Thank you.
It's as long as you are one step ahead of somebody else, you can teach them something, right?
Absolutely.
And I think you were maybe like 10 steps ahead.
Thank you.
So
your stuff is still clean. Like you could, at your skill set, you could still be better than a lot of photographers that are out there.
Thank you. Thank you.
Yeah.
It's a huge learning curve, as you may know.
Yeah. On that same topic, like you're a photographer, you have an artistic eye. Does that translate into microblading? Do you still feel like an artist?
Absolutely, 100%. You have to see those small, tiny details.
Yeah. When I sat with you and we did the paper on latex and I saw you actually like draw it out, or I sat through the procedures and I saw you kind of like work through it, I started to see like how from one side of the eyebrow to another, the strokes were different and there are like different things going on.
You noticed that?
Absolutely.
Oh my.
Yeah. And so like you're going through it, I mean, in the procedure itself when you're tattooing, and then even on the latex paper for practice for your students online. And it's just like, there's a whole skill set and art to this that is done. And I mean, it's like, it's permanent because it's tattoo. So like, it's like
semi-permanent.
Yeah.
It fades away
to an extent. But like, I don't know, when we shoot stuff, it's like, oh, you shoot a bad shot, delete. With you, it's like, oh, this is tattoo.
This
like
is it. This is it.
There's no, I mean, like, all right. So we sat down and you did the, I forget the first procedure, what it was called. Just kind of like when you're drawing and kind of measuring.
Mapping?
When you were brow mapping. Mm-hmm. You set your parameters. If you draw outside of that when you're tattooing.
Oh, you're screwed.
Okay.
You're done.
Okay. Yeah. There's no
going back.
Yeah. There's no Control Z.
Yeah. No, not at all. You really
gotta have crazy steady hands. That's awesome.
Hands of a surgeon.
Yeah. That's literally.
Ears of a psychiatrist.
Yeah. No, that's practice and skill, man. Cause the amount of strokes that you did in a couple hours, it's like, I don't know. I would have colored out of the lines. just a little line on their forehead.
It's definitely art and science.
Have you ever like messed up really badly?
Oh, absolutely. My first client.
What happened?
Ooh. So I said, it's $100 for your eyebrows. This is how I started out.
$100.
I started charging $100.
You were doing it at home or a studio?
I did it illegally at home.
All right. Uh-huh. Hypothetically at home.
Okay. And I did this lady who I went to see after my microblading training. I went to a nail salon and I was telling her about my day. And she's like, can you do my eyebrows? I'm like, whoa, I am not ready to do your eyebrows at all. And she said, when will you be ready? So she held me accountable.
Aw, that's sweet. She believed in you.
Yeah.
That's awesome. That's awesome, man.
She believed in me, but I messed up her eyebrows.
What happened? And was it fixable?
I haven't seen her since then.
Oh, man.
Yeah. But, she was very graceful about it. She said she liked it. She tipped me. And she left and she never came back.
Yeah.
But I said to my husband, I'm like, I don't think I can do this.
Yeah,
this
that's scary,
way
man.
too hard. This is
it's
someone's
permanent.
face.
It's someone's face.
It's someone's face. Like I made one hair way longer than
it's not like a bad photo of someone where they could just not post it. It's like, it's their face. They have to wear it to work.
Yeah. Their livelihood.
Yeah.
So I did that but I made sure she knew that I was brand new and I was very transparent about it.
Good for you.
And I
think that's the right way to do it.
Yeah. So I told her, on average, it's going to cost this much, but I'm only charging you the supply fees. So I did that and I did it 5 more times. And I knew that if I wanted to grow, I would have to find a place that was permitted to do body art.
Yeah.
Period.
At that point, were you like shading on latex?
No.
Or paper? No,
it was just microblading.
Wow. That's scary.
Yeah.
Because I know it's a good test run and it's good to like practice.
Oh, you mean for practice?
Yeah, for practice.
Yes.
Yeah,
so I was practicing on latex and that's what I did most of the time when I first took my course. I practiced for 6 months straight and whenever the baby was asleep, I would practice again.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah. It was really cool to watch you do that and like see the latex and the paper kind of take the ink, and as you would brush it off, you would still see the outline of that. I didn't know how that was going to work out when I was filming it, but I thought that was really cool and a really good way to practice.
Yeah. So I did that about 6 hours a day.
Wow. That's awesome.
That was for 6 months straight. And then that's when I started charging $100. And then I figured the only way to grow is if I get my own studio.
Yeah.
But when I opened my own studio, I had one booked client. Do you know how scary that is to have to pay rent?
Yeah, I have an idea.
Yeah, pay rent with only one booked client. And so I did her eyebrows. She was a 73-year-old client. So all the younger crowd.
What ethnicity was she?
She was white.
Okay, cool. Cool. I know a handful of times we've talked about like, their skin color, their hair color, and then you need to figure out which ink color you're going to use because those all kind of play. Oh,
everything plays a role.
Yeah, we talked a little bit about that.
Undertones and things like that.
To me, that's another artistic thing. Like you need to figure out which colors are going to make the color that you want to end up with.
Right.
Which I never even thought about it. Yeah, I would just think, hey, you have brown eyebrows. We're just going to give you some more brown. You know what I mean?
Color theory is an advanced topic.
Yeah.
It takes a lot of practice.
Do you discuss that in your online course?
Absolutely. You have to.
Cool. Do you want to talk a little bit about your online course and more about how you're training students?
Where do I start?
I don't know. In person and maybe online?
So when I have students now, I make sure that they go over the science part, the theory part online so that I can have the most time with them in person.
Smart.
So they get about 2 to 1 month access before they come in to see me. And then they have 4 days with me where I teach them how to hold the tools and deposit pigment into the skin in the proper way. And after that, they do their model and they come back and shadow me for 3 more days.
So they'll spend 4 days with you in person. Before that, they'll have 1 to 2 months online access.
Yep.
Smart.
Yeah.
And so like by the time they come in, they're already acquainted with like your theories,
Yeah.
your approach.
They know the science behind it.
Yeah.
They know the reasons why we do things and why we don't do things. But when they're with me, they're just learning how to do it and apply those techniques.
Okay. Now, from a business standpoint, I think this is incredible because you can have training days where you have students actually work on people at a discounted rate. You get paid by the client. You also get paid by the students.
Right.
And it's just a regular day in your studio where it doesn't matter if you're working on your own clients. It doesn't matter if you're working to teach your own students. You're still getting paid. People's eyebrows are still getting done, and you're still a superhero because you've helped them to achieve better eyebrows. The
incentive in that is so that they don't have to wait 6 months out.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah. Because your calendar is
fully
booked out.
Booked.
Right. Yeah. And I saw some of that, when we shot together, people were like, hey, when's it, soon as I can get in here. And it's like, 6 months from now. But if you want to do a training next week.
Yeah.
I thought it was incredible. We had Shelly, our friend who got our eyebrows done from you. And she was, it was as if she met like Allen Iverson or Michael Jordan. And she was about to do like a one-on-one like shooting clinic with one of those guys. And she was just so floored. One of the things that stood out to her, that stood out to me, was that she emphasized on like, hey, when someone rings my doorbell, I'll go and put on my eyebrows before I get the door.
Yeah.
People are so, or in her case, or generally, people are so self-conscious about the way they look. And for you to be able to tattoo her eyebrows, for them to stay on for a long time, and for her to love them means she no longer has to spend that, 10 minutes, 20 minutes. She mentioned like, hey, 30 minutes a day. And then I started thinking about it from like an ROI perspective. It's like, you just gave her 3.5 hours a week. Yeah. That's over 12 hours a month. That's like 14 hours a month of her life that you've given her back, on top of the product she would have to buy and the effort and the energy that she would have to spend.
Right. Convenience and confidence.
Yeah.
Is all that I give.
And like when she said that, I was like, oh, like getting eyebrows done is expensive, but if I'm going to get 14 hours a month and I'm going to get confidence, right, that my eyebrows are stellar and like everything's good, like it's a no-brainer. It's an easy ROI. It
is. Well, in the grand scheme of things, if you really look at the pricing of beauty services, microblading or permanent makeup on the eyebrows is actually not as expensive as someone who would get their lashes done every 2 to 3 weeks.
What does that cost?
So when I started to get my eyelashes done, I would pay $200 and then come back again in 2 weeks and pay another $100.
Wow.
Every 2 weeks and spend 2 hours.
That's $400 a month on eyelashes?
Yes.
Get out of here.
And do it for an entire year.
That's crazy.
It's way more.
That's a car note. Get out of here.
It's way more than $800.
That's
and
crazy.
We're not even talking about hair.
Yeah. Let's talk about that.
I'm not sure about hair, but they make more money in the long run. The upfront cost for microblading is obviously higher, but if you are able to give someone convenience for the next 18 months and they don't have to come back, $800, come on.
What's $800 for 14 hours a month?
I would pay that in an instant if it was to save me time and frustration, because most people don't really understand or know how to draw their eyebrows in, right? They take all the time and that's why they spend 2.5 hours with me, so they can have however much time they have back in their life.
Yeah, it's amazing. Yeah, so like until that point, I didn't understand the ROI perspective. I understand the cosmetic confidence aspect of it, but I didn't see the ROI. So that was just like poof, mind blower for me. I thought that was amazing. She was super, super thrilled. So that was just, she was just glowing the entire time.
She was so fun to work with. And you know what, Ben, that's like every day for me when I go to work.
I noticed that. Yeah, with the other clients and the brow mapping. And even you did their brow mapping. And for those who are listening who don't know, it's kind of just like pretend this is potentially what your eyebrows would kind of look like microbladed, right? But it just wipes right off. But even with that, the people who did that and then went to the mirror, like they were still floored, like, oh, these look amazing. Oh, these are great. And like it's fake, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
But I thought that was just genius. Like you could do that as a soft, easy, low expense service, people get to know what you're like. They get to experience your personality, like that conversation that you had with that woman.
Oh, wait,
where she was like,
she got kidnapped?
"Oh, hey, by the way, I was in school overseas and I almost got kidnapped." And you're like, "Oh my God, I had a situation too." And now you guys are just bonding on like a whole different level.
That's the reason
and you're
why
making that connection.
That is the reason why I love going to work, because I get to meet all kinds of different people and I hear their stories, and it helps me get me through my day. Like, it doesn't feel like work to me. So I go to work, I listen to all these people's stories, and I create art and I give them back their time. And I save so much frustration and whatever it is that they have issues with, whatever it is. Women, we scroll through our phones in the middle of the night to try to fix our problems. And that's what I ask them, like, why are you scrolling through your phone? Like, what bothers you so much about your eyebrows that make you want to book an appointment with me and wait 6 months out and pay this money? Like, what can I do to provide that solution?
Yeah.
So once I hit that pain point, I can look at them and be like, I can do this X, Y, Z for you, and just hang out with me for 2.5 hours and we're good.
Okay, I'm going to pause right here. So Sokkha is a master saleswoman. Did you hear what she just said? She said, hey, I'm going to ask them, what is the pain point? What is your why? And then I'm going to tell you how my solution solves all of your problems in 2.5 hours.
Yeah, 2.5 hours.
You're telling them you're going to give them what they need. You're going to do it with a smile. And it's going to be a fun time. And it is a fun time.
It is.
I had fun.
Hang out with me for 2.5 hours.
I had fun. And I was there for 2 days. Like I didn't mind it. I had fun.
You're being sweet.
And so like, if you're in sales, you need to get to the why. You need to get to the bottom of the bottom. Like, why does anybody want to work with you for whatever you do, artistically, non-artistically? Get to the why, figure out why your solution solves that problem, and then you can close the deal. And for anyone listening, I think Sokkha's closing numbers are like, she closes like 80% of the people.
A little bit higher than that. I get a little butthurt when people don't close with me.
It's like 90%, 95% close. That's crazy.
I probably have had a handful of people say, I'm not sure.
That's a crazy close rate.
Right.
That does not happen.
As
so
long
kudos
as
to you.
Thank you. As long as you can. And if they're not closing with you, then you're doing something wrong. You haven't convinced them enough to buy from you, or you haven't gained their trust, because trust is a major issue, right?
It's huge.
So if I'm not doing that, then I'm doing something wrong.
I agree. On the corporate end, this isn't sponsored, but my video production company puts together the podcast. One of the assets we create is a video business card or a brand story. Yeah. And it helps to foster and create that trust. You know,
the videos that you made for me already, like I just showed you before, I just had an inquiry for training.
I love it.
And that's...
Now, does BM2 Films get a commission off that or like a kickback? Because that was a direct reply. I saw that.
We can talk about that later.
Let's do it. No, I think it's awesome. And I tell people all the time, like, seeing is quote unquote believing, right? Unless we're talking Tinder swindler, right? You got to kind of decipher. But video is the best way to kind of show people the essence of things.
I mean, Tinder swindler. He was able to accomplish the things that he could because of emotions, right? Yeah. And that's what video does for you.
Yeah. And the brow lady. All right. So you're crushing it with brows. Did you start in Lexington or were you somewhere else? Were your first studio?
So I started in Lexington not because I wanted to.
Okay. So you've been in the same space?
No, I was in another space. It's Salons by JC. It's a small little 100-foot square foot room.
Closet?
Yeah, like closet. 375
That's where empires are started.
You think so?
Garages and closets, bro. Come on.
Oh yeah, you're right. Amazon.
Apple, Amazon, everything. Mm-hmm. That's where it starts.
So I actually...
starts in here. No, I'm serious. It all starts here. And I try to tell people that, like, I talk with my friend Giorgio, and it's like, you got to map out the blueprint in your head before you like manifest it and realize it. And I don't want to be the manifest guy, but like it literally starts in your head. So
you're absolutely right. Because when I first finished with my training and I thought that I was ready to take on more clients, I was applying at all these different places, and I got
to work as a microblading artist.
To work as a microblading artist, and I got a bunch of no's.
Yeah.
That was very defeating. Mm-hmm. Then I finally got one yes. Nice. It was a Friday night. I remember it so clearly. Friday night, she sent an email saying, welcome to the team. I celebrated all weekend. Sunday night, she messages me or sends me an email saying, I'm sorry, I decided to hire somebody else. Mm-hmm. And that was heartbreaking. I think I cried all week.
Yeah, that sucks.
I felt as though I couldn't do this anymore. Like, how am I going to do this?
Yeah.
But then she said something to me like, you know that you can do this by yourself, right? And that was the one thing.
Confidence.
The best thing that she ever said to me, because I was so hurt, but at the same time, I was so stuck in my own head that I couldn't do this without anyone else.
Right.
So when she said that I could do it on my own, I was like, maybe I can do this on my own.
Yeah.
Best thing ever. I'm so glad no one hired me.
She gave you wings and you just did your own thing.
I did my own thing.
Awesome.
It was scary.
Yeah. Yeah. No, but it, you got to where you're at, and that's just part of the process. There are scary moments.
Very scary moments, paying rent, all that. And spending I remember spending my last $500 on marketing and advertising on Facebook. I just couldn't see myself spending more and more money because I was not sure no one really teaches you, especially in business school. They don't teach you how to be an entrepreneur. They teach you how to work for somebody else, right? In the corporate world. And that's what I thought was where I was supposed to go. So I decided to spend my last $500 on this guy. I'm like, oh my God.
This is one of those stories.
So broke. I can't do this. I can't do this. And I remember my husband saying, I will support you for 3 months. If you cannot, I love him. If you cannot do it in 3 months, then maybe you should just say, screw it.
Yeah. So someone told me, hey, save up. Like if you're working a corporate job and you have a side hustle, if you have 6 months of clearway on expenses and everything that you need, like take a risk on yourself.
Yeah.
Worst comes to worst, you end up in a corporate job again. Yeah. And there's nothing wrong with that. You can still maintain a profitable side hustle. And you can get health benefits and there's other advantages. But if you really want to go full time, save 3 months, save 6 months and do it. And so you saved the 3 months and now.
Well, no, I spent the $500 and I advertised for $200. I said, okay, my services is going to cost you $400, but I will take 50% off. So it's for $200. And when you're advertising on Facebook, you're targeting a different type of audience. People who don't really value quality.
Talk about it.
They value, the value, just like $200 is cheap. Okay, I can do it. So that's what I did. I took advantage of that market and I just decided to put my hands on as many heads as I possibly could. Then all of a sudden I was booked out a month in advance. And then I raised my prices to $300 and I was booked out another month in advance. And I'm like, okay, maybe I can do this. I never once took money from him, which is great.
Good for you.
Then I was like, maybe 300 is kind of low. I decided to up my prices.
400.
Yeah, 400, 450. And then when I hit 600, there was a huge pause.
Nobody talks about that.
Yes.
Nobody talks about that.
I was like, okay, $600. I've invested this much time in
and at this point, your eyebrows are good. You're solid.
Yeah, I think I was good. I mean, and then people stopped booking with me and I was questioning myself. Yeah. I was like, oh God.
I know that feeling. I know that feeling. On the wedding brand, we up our prices over time and it's just like, are you worth what you say you're worth?
They make you question your value, right?
Yeah.
They make you question how your artistic ability.
Mainly Alex's value. Him being a second shooter and all, but I digress.
But you know what I did?
Yeah.
Stuck with it. Because I'm like, okay, I spent this much money. I am worth it. I'm going to stick with it. And then, you know what? I'm going to target somebody else. I need to shift my target audience and advertise to people who make at least $75K. So you have to kind of.
I was just going to ask this. How do you pivot and then create a brand that attracts a different style of customer? Because that's so important. Right.
So I knew that if I were to gather people who make at least 100K, I need to provide a luxurious service. It needs to look luxurious.
I'm going to give you guys some context. When I went to her space, it's awesome. You walk into this beautiful flower wall. The lighting is good. It smells amazing. There's, gourmet snacks hanging out everywhere. She's like, what do you want to drink? Here's a vitamin water. You know what I mean? It's not like, nice, hey, here's cold. Some tap water. It's like, you got to think how to, like, what does a luxury service look like? So I thought that was fantastic. Even from, me just being a videographer, just showing up. It's like, oh, the amenities. That you're giving people a service and you want them to feel good. So I thought you guys hit it out of the park with that one.
Thank you. It's also my love language. I love to feed people. I want people to feel so comfortable when they come see me. And so that's what I started to do. And all of a sudden they just started to pour in.
Love it.
You have to believe in yourself. If you don't believe in yourself, who else will? Right?
Factual.
So
Factual. And
then now 2,900 procedures in, crazy. $800 eyebrows, 2 artists working underneath me, and training students. It's.
What do you think you've done in total sales so far? Because I want to call this episode the $1 million brows.
You can
or the $1 million brow lady. I don't know.
You can absolutely 100% call it the $1 million eyebrow. We're hitting close to 2.
Love it.
Yeah.
Love it.
In
love
a
it.
short 3.5 years.
That's amazing.
It's awesome because
that's like unreal.
I was so scared. Like looking back, $375. I couldn't even afford rent. It was so scary. And now it's like, okay,
this is what I do.
Yeah.
Do you want a book? Okay. All right. If not, but no, that's amazing. Let's talk about, what are your favorite like business books, business shows,
business books? I mean,
podcasts. Where do you get your business wisdom from? Women's groups. I don't know.
I think the most important book is How to Win Friends and Influence People.
Dale Carnegie.
That is the most important. You have to make people feel important, right?
I just came back from Vegas. I was with a mentor of mine, Jordan, and he's like Dale Carnegie embodied.
Yeah.
Right. Where there were multiple moments where it was like we wanted something, but we would have to persuade someone to give us what we wanted. And there's this tightrope and there's this balance act with it. I mean, in one case, we were at Havana Night at the party at WPPI and the bar had closed. I had drink tickets. We had drink tickets. And it's like, okay, the bartender is saying, the bar's closed, go away. We have drink tickets. We want drinks. How can we make this exchange happen? And you got to be kind about it. You got to smile about it. You got to woo people. You got to make people feel good.
Yeah.
Dale Carnegie does an incredible job of bringing up multiple situations. One of them that stood out to me the most was when he said he was at a party at a friend's house and his friend was saying something that was false, maybe about the Bible or another book. And he's like, I have 2 choices right now. I can tell him and embarrass him in front of everyone that what he's saying is untrue, or I can just talk to him in private. If I do the first part, I'm going to embarrass him and he's going to be very upset with me, even if I'm right. The second part, he's still going to love me and I can just kind of bust his balls later.
Yeah.
So there are so many examples in that book that are kind of just like that they're so common sense that they're not common.
Right.
And I guess, what are your favorite parts in that book or any favorite moments?
I think the most important thing is making people feel important, right? As long as you make people feel important, then they are more likely to like you and listen to you and sounds awful, but do whatever you ask them to.
It's true.
It's so true. It's so true.
It's true. I try to balance things where it's like, I generally want people to feel good.
Yeah.
I generally want to serve people.
Right.
In business, out of business, and those things. So it's one of those things where you just got to kind of check your motives.
Yeah.
But it's a masterful book. If you guys don't like physical books, get it on Audible. The author reader sounds really good. And I try to listen to that book like twice a year. It's fantastic because like dealing with people is very important.
Yeah.
So it's solid.
And when you're making decisions, I know you probably have read this, but I think everyone I've talked to, but Rich Dad, Poor Dad.
Yes.
Right?
Yes. My 12-year-old's reading that. And we're playing cash flow. And my 7-year-old is, hey, I just bought a 20-unit apartment. Now I'm out the rat race. Deuces, like now he's living his best life in the outer circle.
Right. You just make your decisions based on that.
Incredible book. That was one that I listening to the Bigger Pockets podcast, Brandon from there, David from there, and a lot of people they interview, everyone says Rich Dad, Poor Dad, like just opens their mind to possibilities.
Right. It's all about shifting your mindset. And
Absolutely.
when you're making decisions, you make those decisions based on those principles. And I think that's what really changed my life financially. And I'm so much happier now.
Yeah. That's amazing. I'm so proud of you.
Thank you.
Let's talk about how, you have 2 kids, you have a husband, you're not supposed to be as successful as you are. How does this all kind of work out?
Oh my goodness.
What is that like?
Oh my goodness. It's nonstop.
Yeah.
It is nonstop and it's all a mind game. You just have to tell yourself, just keep doing it. It's a lot of planning as well.
Yeah.
And I couldn't do any of it without his support. He is super supportive. And when he has his moments, I have to just look at him and be like, hey, this is what this is the bigger goal. Yeah, this is the bigger goal. As long as we can do one thing today to move the needle, whether it's just like one baby step, then we're getting towards like moving towards that goal.
Love it.
Yeah.
Let's talk about 5-year goals.
5-year goal. On those? Oh my God, that's how I live my life.
Love it. I know it. Yeah. If you guys don't have a 5-year goal, you need to figure out what that looks like. Because if not, you don't know what direction you're going in. You're going in a direction. You just don't know which way that sale is taking you.
I will tell you about this 5-year goal. When we first got married, we told ourselves like, okay, in 5 years, we'll try for a baby. But I knew when we got married, he said, I couldn't give you babies because he was in remission from cancer. And I was like, all right, 5 years from now, cool. In my head, I thought it was just going to be me and him for the rest of our lives. Yeah. So 2 days later, after we got married, I got pregnant.
Wow.
5 years.
Amazing.
Does not.
Yeah. Things change.
Things change. Yeah. But 5 years from now, we always talk about acquiring at least 2 properties or 1 property every 2 years.
Love it.
And we just bought our Airbnb, our house, and turned into an Airbnb.
Love it.
And I think I launched it this week or last week.
I saw the stories.
I think I've told you about this whole journey from the very beginning, from renovating it to setting it up and all these other things. But finally, we got it up and going, and it's almost booked up for the entire summer up in Maine. I love it.
And now the bookings for the summer, does that cover the mortgage for the whole year?
Oh my God.
See? Love it.
So let's just talk about numbers, right? My mortgage is $1,500 a month.
Yep.
And that is 1 week of rentals. So no brainer.
But you guys I saw the photos. They're beautiful. You guys put some money and some work into that place.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah. You want to talk about that deal a little bit? Would you get into it? Let's talk about what it was before. Right?
Do I want to talk about what it was before? Then people might not come to my...
No, people love that stuff.
Okay.
We're good.
We're good?
Yeah,
we're good? Okay. Yeah. So when we got this house, it was just one of those nights we were sitting around at dinner time.
Trap house.
Listen, I was like, babe, let's buy another house.
Yeah.
Had a few cocktails and we were just talking about these things and looking at our goals. And he's like, okay, let's do it. So I texted a friend. I'm like, hey, a broker in Maine. I'm like, hey, do you have a house for me? She said, matter of fact, I do. There's a little lake house up in Wyndham, Maine. You want to come look at it? I'm like, sure. How much is it? First, she told me it was $200,000. I'm like, wow, let's do it.
Yeah.
She didn't tell me all the little details.
Yeah. Like, hey, this is actually Breaking Bad.
Trap house. People ODing, bodies getting dragged out. There was needles all around.
Crazy.
Had no idea, and I committed to it.
Yeah.
I committed to it.
Before seeing it?
Yes.
Did you walk through it or no?
I walked through. I said, I want to buy it, and then I'll walk through it. Okay. She's like, everything is renovated, everything's good, but she didn't talk about the bones of the house.
Yeah.
New electrical panels, new plumbing that we needed to do. The water runs on well water. I had no idea what well water was. That's a whole nother thing.
Yeah, my sister went through that in Connecticut. That's a whole different thing.
And just setting it up, like we got the house, I think maybe June, and
You're into the house for how much at this point?
So now she upped the price to $295.
$295 from $200.
Yes.
After work is done? Or no?
No.
Huh?
Yeah. So we needed to add more. The electrical panels and the plumbing.
And that's in the $295?
No. That's an addition.
Oh my goodness.
I know. It's all these unexpected costs.
Was this an off-market deal or on-market?
Off-market.
Okay. That's strange.
It didn't even hit the market.
Gotcha.
Yeah.
Okay. So you're in at $295, but you still need electrical panels, electrical outlets, plumbing,
landscaping. You got to clean up all the syringes.
And you guys redid the entire place. The place.
No, they redid the entire place
at $295.
At $295.
Okay, that makes sense.
Yeah.
Okay, cool. So you turned a trap house at $200 into a refurbed house at $295.
Right.
And you're in it at that point.
Yeah.
And you have a beautiful family and a dog, and you guys are just hanging out there.
Yeah.
And life is good.
Life is good.
You're paying an extra mortgage every month, and you're not making any money.
Not yet.
Okay.
But now we are.
But now you are.
Now we are.
Was there a point where you were going to sell it, or?
Oh, there were so many points where I wanted to sell it. I just kept getting so frustrated. I was like, I can't do this. I'm not spending more on an electrical panel. That's like $7,000 thing.
Yeah.
It's mini splits, another $7,000.
That's 20 grand for me.
Right.
Like, they get expensive.
So expensive. Plumbing,
It's a whole nother
septic
issue.
tank, filtering water. I have to spend $20,000 next month just to clean the water.
Crazy.
And I just have to make sure there's no squirrel in there.
Crazy.
Who wants to take a bath with a dead squirrel in the freaking well?
Right. That's pretty gross.
Oh man.
That's a bad Airbnb review.
Don't cut that out, please. But yeah, so it's nice and beautiful. And I paid an interior designer because we thought that I thought that I could do it. I thought I had good taste in design. But you know what? 4 months later, I still did nothing. And I was like, okay, let's just hire somebody else to do it.
Smart.
Paid her some money.
Smart.
She got it done in 15 days.
Boom.
15 days.
And you got your 15 days back. That probably would have took you a month.
Oh my God, way more than that.
So it's an easy ROI.
Yeah.
Yeah.
100%.
I love it. Awesome. So the Airbnb is doing good.
Yeah.
Microblading studio is doing well.
Yeah.
You're looking on getting a new location, growing the operation. I think that's incredible. Your husband now works with you.
He does. I retired him from corporate world.
See,
he is now.
Boss moves. I retired my husband. That's amazing. That is amazing. No, I'm serious. Like, cheers to you.
Thank you.
That's incredible.
Thank you. I knew that I wanted to be.
For context, he was making good money.
Yes.
He was making north of like 6 figures. So.
Yeah.
See. So
yeah.
That's a big deal.
It was very scary for us because that is a safety net, right?
Yeah, sure is.
So I now am responsible for paying him and our 2 mortgages on top of, we don't just have 2 employees. We have other people that work for us. So like 4, I'm
contractors.
4 people.
Yeah.
All kinds of people.
Yeah. I was listening to No BS Leadership. It's like a No BS business book by someone I follow on LinkedIn. And he was just talking about, when you're dealing with a high level company, like if you have 100 employees, you're thinking as a leader, like I'm responsible for 100 mortgages. Like my decisions every single day kind of affect that. And that's weight, man. People don't talk about that. So again, cheers to you.
Thank you.
I have contractors. I don't have, W-2 employees, so I don't know what that feels like. My buddy Jordan does, but it's that's a burden that only bosses feel. That's a burden reserved for bosses. And that's weight, man. And people don't talk about that.
It really keeps you up at night.
Yeah.
It does.
But I think you are doing tremendous. So happy to have you on the podcast.
Thank you so much for having me.
So happy to work with you, cheer you on, watch you grow. I can't wait till you get the new space.
Thank you. And you're going to be there.
Oh yeah, I'll definitely be there. We'll help you get set up with everything. And thank you so much. Where can people find you on social media, LinkedIn? Where should they follow you?
So you can find me on Instagram at Brow Lady Microblading. That's where you can see most of my work. And you can always look at my website at microbladingbrowlady.com. I am also starting to grow my YouTube channel. So if you want to see my face, you can see it there.
Cool.
And that's it.
Awesome. Thank you so much. And I'll get your socials. I'll link them in the show notes. And people can just click those to connect with you.
Thank you, Ben.
You're welcome. Guys, if you are listening to this podcast, make sure to like, comment, subscribe on whatever platform you are on. Spotify, Google Apps, Google Play Store. If you are listening to this on a lightning powered app, Breeze or Fountain app, definitely rate us on there as well. And Sokkha, thank you so much for your time today.